How's it going, guys? This is Steven with All Talk On, and today I felt like doing something. I use this PC parts picker website a lot, and basically I just want to go through a way for you guys, or to show you guys how processes that I go through, I guess, to build a PC, some tips and stuff you guys can use. This probably will be a video on a little bit of the longer side, but I mean, hopefully there'll be a lot of information that you guys can take away from this. If anything, you guys can go to SkrillZilla. You can come find me on PC Parts Picker. I have a handful of builds that I've basically just put together. As you guys can see, I'll show you. For anywhere from the $500 range with the Athlon. Yeah, I'd rather have the FX 6300, but if you want to go with an ITX build, small mini build, this right here is a very good ITX build for 525 or 552. Price actually went up a little bit on some parts. I'd have to switch out, like this For the Win edition was on sale for $100 and now it's $154, so probably something I'd switch out. Then there's my build. There's another, what is this one? This is the FX 6350 one I put together. It's micro ATX, and it uses this really cool case, which is actually why I built it for this. Look at that case right there. Yeah. So, if you guys want to come check out the builds I have, there's a $350 build I have right here that I just put the YouTube video up. You can go check out the video on that. And like I said, these are all included price without any rebates. Like, this is the price without the rebates, because a lot of people put the rebate price in there. I don't really agree with that, because the money still has to come out of your pocket at that moment when you're buying the parts. So, I mean, cool, you get your little Visa gift card back. A lot of people don't tell you that it's not actual cash. It's a Visa gift card they give you back in the rebate. Maybe store credit for some rebates. I don't know. The ones that I got are Visa gift cards. Anyways, but if you have a $350 solid budget, you cannot go over $10. Obviously, that $10 rebate is going to suck, you know, because now you're at $356 instead of $350. So, I mean, that's why I don't include the rebates. It also just means that after, like this one, after the rebates, I think the price for that dropped to like $320 or something like that. It drops way lower if you include the price for the rebates, but I didn't do that. So, anyways, we're gonna start it off with let's remove this stuff. Actually, I probably should have kept that on there, because I was actually probably gonna. Oh no, I don't want to use that. That's expensive. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a $500 build. How I recommend when I think about building is, if you're going ITX under a $600, $500 budget, I would suggest going for, I don't know, it'd be kind of a tie between the Athlon X4, or it would be the Pentium G3258. The Pentium's a really good processor, and I think it's like an 1150 socket, so it's interchangeable with the i5s and stuff like that. You can put a different Intel in there, which is really nice. So I'd probably go with that, but how I usually do my builds is, if you're not building ATX Micro or ITX, what I go for is, if you're building just standard ATX size, standard tower computer, I do it like this. If I'm going for a very budget, like my $350, $400 range, I go for the Pentium G3258, because it is like a $60 or $70 for the processor, and it outperforms any $60 or $70 AMD processor out there. So, for the most part, it does, especially on single-threaded programs. It does not have hyper-threading, but it's still an Intel, still very fast. And then if I'm going for like the 500 range, like a mid-grade PC, gaming PC, I will usually go for AMD. As far as I'm concerned, their mid-range good gaming PCs are so much cheaper than a mid-range Intel gaming PC. Mostly because Intel doesn't really have a mid-range G3258. I mean, I guess you could use that for your mid-range build, but I mean, I don't know. I just see a lot of issues with that CPU. As far as performance, when you're trying to put a 280X in your build, or you know what I mean, if you're building like a $500 or $600 build, you're going to want like a 270, 280, or a 760 or 770 graphics card. And honestly, with that Intel Pentium G, I think that's kind of not good enough for having that good of a graphics card in there, but that's my opinion. Honestly, people have their own opinions. I think Jay's 2 cents. He has a bottlenecking video, and he shows his computer. He drops it down basically to an i3 processor and puts in I think it might be a 780, 770, or a 280. It's like a high-end graphics card, and it totally shows the CPU slowing down the graphics card because it's just not fast enough. And honestly, when you're comparing the Pentium G, you're going to compare it mostly to the i3, though it is the same architecture as the i5, and it's just a dual core instead. You would be comparing that more to an i3 than an i5. Now, if this thing was just as good as an i5, then don't get me wrong, it would have no problems with the higher end graphics cards, but because it's an i3 comparable type dual core processor, they are overclockable. I've seen several people with them at 4.5, which does make them a lot nicer, but once again, it's not an i5. It's not an FX 6300, and it's not an FX 8320. So we're going to get right into this. A lot of people like to start with their CPU, which is a good way to go. Honestly, I like to just kind of mix around a little bit. Sometimes I'll usually check for motherboards first to basically find out, especially when I'm doing micro ATX or mini ITX. Sorry, I just burped a little bit. A mini ITX build, I usually go for the motherboard first because the motherboard can be a very crippling part to pick for these ITX builds if you're trying to do it on a budget without using Intel. ITX, I think they only support the FM2 socket for AMD, so you can only have like the Athlons and stuff like that, and APUs. So I mean, honestly, for the ITX, it's a little bit tougher, but I like to just take a look around. Of course, I'm going to hit price first. Basically, I would not suggest getting any of these motherboards. I feel like you should definitely go a little bit lower. We're going to set about a $500 build, so I think we're going to go a little lower into here. And basically, I like to just kind of pick up parts. Always look at the reviews too. That's always good. And this is the max RAM. You don't want an 8 GB max RAM. I mean, that kind of sucks. But these are micro ATX, so we're not going to do a micro ATX. We are going to do a ATX right here. There we go. Okay, so. And also, fucking rule of thumb nowadays, let's have a USB 3.0 header, just because honestly, it's not a bad idea to have. And let's make sure, I don't mind not having SATA 6 gigs, that's fine. On a budget build, you don't necessarily need it. But having that USB 3.0 header is not a bad idea. So, brands that I usually always are going to go for, I've always like MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock. Usually though, I go for Asus. I'm slightly biased, and I always find the Asus ones first. Check out what they have to offer. I'm not seeing any Asus for some weird reason. Cause my motherboard didn't even cost this much, and I have an Asus. Oh, here we go. So, this is the one I have actually right here. This is a good motherboard. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. A lot of people like to factor in the overclocking, and is this motherboard, can you overclock it? Honestly, I don't know. I don't look at a motherboard and be like, yep, you can overclock on that one. I will Google it if I do need to know it. But for this, we're just going to say you're not overclocking. So I'm just like, alright, so honestly, we're going to look for something a little bit cheaper, maybe in the $60, $70 range. That's an FM2 slot. We're not going to do that. We're going to do an AMD build because I'm going for mostly mid-range, good budget gaming, which I'm not gonna lie, Intel's kind of tough to make a mid-range budget. A lot of people disagree, but it is true. I mean, you're gonna end up sacrificing for your Intel i5 if you're trying to make a mid-range one. And don't tell me that an Intel i3 or a Pentium G is gonna be good for your mid-range gaming, because I'd rather have an FX 6300 or FX 8320. So, let's see. $71. Let's look at the MSI 970. I'm pretty sure this one's overclockable. I actually think I remember seeing this one. Dual graphics card port, so you can probably do SLI. Nope, you can do Crossfire. No SLI. But once again, I'm not a Crossfire or SLI kind of person, so it doesn't bother me too much. Let's see what we got here. Let's look up this ASRock one's got. That's a FM2 socket. I don't know why I clicked on that. Sorry. Let me get rid of that FM2. Oh crap, let's go AM3 plus. AM3 plus is for mostly what, like when I see AM3 plus, I see FX series processor. That's the, the PC gamer version of me looking at that. $75. There we go. Damn, that looks plain as hell. I was kind of looking for something that didn't look as crappy. Alright, so we're going to select the Extreme Edition. Now, let's look at the gigabytes. Yeah, these look pretty low grade. At least it's kind of black. It's got 2 USB ports, onboard USB, no SLI, 1866 to 2000. You know what? Let's go with that one. Let's do that. So now that I got that, we're going to look up CPUs. And because we have an AM3 socket, we're going to go with the AMD FX series right here. Alright. I usually go for an FX63 for this one. And it's only $100, so let's add it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going through and just picking out things that I roughly want, and then when it comes down to what my budget is, I'll go through and trim some fat out of the price. So let's obviously 1866 AMD just runs native on it, so it's always nice to go for it. We're only going to go for 8 gigabytes, that's more than enough. And we're going to set the price. Okay, so with this, honestly, RAM, kind of hard to go wrong, Kingston's good, G-Skill's good, A-Data's, it's pretty good. Depends, if you get their higher quality stuff, it's a lot better, obviously. Never used Muskin, Corsair, Vengeance, I see a lot of people putting those in, so they must be decent. Crucial Ballistic, same thing, a lot of people use those, but we're trying to go cheap, so we're not going to rock these A-Datas, because, I mean, honestly, actually, that doesn't look too bad. I saw cheaper looking ones earlier. 1866, it actually looks pretty cool. But because we can, and it's like $1 more, I think we're just going to go with the $80 Sniper series or the Airy series. They're both pretty cool. You know what? We're going to go with the Sniper series. There's 109 reviews. It's only $82. Let's do it. RAM is expensive right now. I actually got mine for a little cheaper than that. Alright, storage, a standard storage. We're just going to pick the cheapest 1 terabyte drive we can find. Which sucks because Hitachi did have that sale. Oh my god, I'm like beating myself up over that right now. So we're going to go with 7200. It's not a $300 build, so we can get a little bit going here. You know what? 32 gigabytes? No, we want 500 to a terabyte. Alright, 1 terabyte. Hitachi, wow. Look at that, it's on sale for $40 again. Actually think I'm going to buy this, so I'm going to add it to the thing right now, and I'm going to make sure that there's no crazy free shipping too. Look at that. Yeah, $106 on Newegg, $43 on Amazon, you guys. If you guys watch this, go pick one of these up if they're still going. I mean, like, really? It's only a SATA 3, but, whatever. Hold on, let's take a look around. I'm going to add that one, though, just to keep track of it. Well, let's take a look around and see what else we got around here. Let me see something. Let me see, 6 gigabyte per second. Let's see how much those cost. 6 gigabit per second, terabyte. Oh, here we go. Toshiba. 1 terabyte, 6 gigabit per second. That's actually nice. Let's actually do that one instead. It's a little bit more. I'm going to keep them both on there and check my price at the end and remove one of them depending. If I really need that extra $7, I'm going to remove the more expensive one, but the fact that it's a 6 gigabit per second, obviously I want that one, and actually I might end up buying this one, because fuck, that's Toshiba, but honestly I've used a lot of Toshiba things, never had an issue. Same, I've had a Hitachi drive before, fucking for like 6 years, it was fine. So far we are at 347, so we're not looking good for our price right now, so because we still haven't even added our graphics card or our power supply. So, GPU. Let's go with the 750. Let's put the 750 up there. Let's put the R6 and the R70 and the R72X, as well as the 760 and the 770. And let's just hit price. Yeah, we're not going to pay $500. Alright, so as far as I'm concerned, 750, so we're looking at about $200, which will pretty much throw us over budget. If we're going for 5, I don't know, maybe we can do a $600 build with a 270, because it's a good graphics card. We got the MSI twin Frozer right here for 164. That's a 270X. I'm actually looking at that one and thinking it's pretty good. Because MSI, honestly, I like to stick with the main ones like MSI, Sapphire, FXX. Yeah, I can do that one. And Asus, as well as Gigabyte. I mean, if you want, you can go PNY and EVJ or EVGA, of course, EVGA. So we have the 750. So let's price it towards, yeah, see, as you can see, the 760s are a little bit more expensive than these 270s. So we're just going to do a 270. That seems a really well-balanced system with the 270 with the FX 6300. That's a really well-balanced system, if you ask me. You're not going to get any issues with the GPU or CPU not being able to keep up with the GPU. So that's about right. See, now we're at 512. So now we need to start kind of trimming because we still need a power supply and a case. So for the case, I'm probably just going to go super cheap just to make sure I can make a budget. And I'm trying to kind of hurry up. I don't want this video to be forever, but I do have to do some editing with it. So yeah, maybe I'll trim some off while editing. Let's see. So we have the $400, 400 watt. I don't know why I said $400. So you know what? I forgot to do that. Check what wattage is at right now. We're at about 400, so we're gonna need about a 600 or 400 watt power supply. I honestly would go with the 600 just to make sure you have that headroom if you want to do some overclocking in the future. You have a little bit of room to breathe around, or a little bit of room to breathe or move around in. So we're going to do 80 plus and 80 plus. Oh, whoa, hey there, with the mixture of moving things. And we're going to drop this down really far so I don't spend time looking around for power supplies that I'm not going to fucking get. So excuse my language. Let's do price now. Let's see. Honestly, I've been looking at EVGAs a lot lately because they are, I don't know, they're cheap and they're 80 plus bronze. Corsair is always nice too. Their CX series, a lot of people will talk crap on their CX series, but honestly, getting 80 plus bronze Corsair, you know what I mean, they're fine. They do good. Definitely do good. So you know what? Screw doing this by price. We're doing this by watts now. We're going for the big boys. Because I'm looking for a 550 or a 600 80 plus bronze here. So we have Cooler Master Thermaltake. I've also heard some okay stuff. Seasonic. If you want a good power supply, Seasonic is where you want to be at. That is basically like one of the main brands that people are always like, oh my god, it's such an amazing power supply. That's definitely Seasonic. Okay, so right here we have a CX Semi. See what I mean? 32 or 322 reviews, almost 5 stars on this CX 600M. And a lot of people say that the CX series, our phone's going off. The CX series power supplies are shit, which I don't buy for 1 second. I mean, if your system requires 600 watts and you put one of these in there, then yeah, you're going to have some problems. But that's with almost any power supply. But if you have like a 450 watt system and you put one of these in there, you are perfectly fine. You ain't got to worry about it. So we're going to go with that. And yeah, we're already looking pretty over here. So let's see what we can do with our case. I might just go with like one of the cheapest cases I can find. We got like for 30 bucks or something. Let's see what these look like. Okay, that is ugly. I don't like those computers that look like you bought them at Walmart. I'm sorry. Oh god damn it, my phone keeps ringing. Sorry about that, guys. There's a Gigabyte case. Ooh. Let's see. Oh yeah. Well, looks like I bought that at Best Buy. Awesome. Cool. That's not what I want. Give me things that I want. I wish they would show a little picture next to them so I could just not click on them, because I know that they would suck ass. Let's see what we got going here. The cube. Oh, we can go with the cube. How much is that? Oh no, it disappeared. Okay, never mind. Sorry guys, didn't mean to get you excited there. I'm looking for a case with like a window, halfway decent, around the $30 range. You know what I mean? That actually looks kind of cool. No window, but that looks really cool. No front USB 3.0 panels. God, you have failed me. Sorry, I didn't mean that in a bad way. Alright. Yeah, let's not run into that again. I don't want to waste my time looking at things that I don't want. Deep pool. There is not a picture. Because, you know, you don't need a picture when you're buying a case. Purely aesthetic. Alright, let's do this. Actually looks kind of cool. Does it have a window now? No, it doesn't. It has a big vent, but I'm not gonna lie, that actually looks really cool. Of course, the case is all on personal preference. There are going to be, so this can only support, that's 12.2 inches, is honestly, that's a pretty big video card. I mean, I think I have the Sapphire Toxic 280X, so I'm not going to lie, that's one of the biggest video cards out there, but that can definitely hold a big one. I don't know if it'd be able to fit mine, but okay. So we're going to go with that case, just because it actually looked halfway cool. It doesn't have a window, but you know what I mean, $30, you can go find a case with a window. You can go look around and find one. Case is mostly a personal preference thing. Okay, so now I'm going to start shaving down on my price here. Basically, my motherboard is $70. It's a cool motherboard, but I think I can get $10 off of that if I look around. I definitely do. One thing to keep in mind, though, is I did click on a USB 3.0 header for my case, so I want to make sure I do that again for my motherboard. You want to make sure that they both support the USB 3.0, otherwise you're just buying one without the other, and you're kind of wasting your money. This is $60, so honestly it doesn't look like I can shave too much off unless I go for like a micro ATX, which the case does support. So how much was the one that I had? Let me see. PC parts pickup. Come on, guys. Come on. Alright. So I'm looking at 72, so honestly that's not much cheaper, unless I want to go with the micro ATX, which, you can, I guess. So we're definitely, well, I'm going to open this up because I kind of want that to buy that later, but I'm going to get rid of this right now. We did pick a higher graphics card. We might have to lower that down if we want it to fit in that $500 budget. The Corsair power supply, I don't want to get rid of that because right now we're at 374 wattage, and honestly, where it says right here, where is it, this video card is probably going to take more than 180, as well as if you overclock it, it will definitely take more than 180, especially if you overclock this. It will definitely shoot over 100 or over 95, so you want to make sure that you have some clearance in case you guys are overclocking out there. 557 is what I'm at right now. I honestly could do a lot more shaving down. I could go with the cheaper case, with my go-to case. If you guys want to see my go-to cheap case right here, this thing is awesome for how cheap it is. It is the cheapest case, and it comes with USB 3.0. So that's my cheapest case. That's my go-to case for build. Honestly, stuff it under your desk, throw a blanket over it, hide it. Don't throw a blanket over it. That's really bad for it. But it's a cheap case, so that's $20, so with free shipping. So as you can see, I've already dropped it down to 547. You could, honestly, I doubt you're going to find a better hard drive than this. That's $43, like that's nice for a terabyte. Sucks it's not SATA 6, but you know, we'll deal with it. Let's go with the memory. Let's go. See, I did pick 1866. You do not have to pick 1866, or you can pick 1600 and overclock it if you want. I don't like having to overclock the RAM. I like to just buy it. I mean, of course, when you buy it, you'll have to go into your BIOS and set it to 1866, as well as set your latencies. To do that, maybe I'll make a tutorial on it later on some other time. It's not complicated at all. You just go into your BIOS, you change the frequency to 1866, then you find your memory latency like configuration area, and then basically you just go to the website of where you bought yours. Like G.Skill's really easy. You go to the G.Skill website, and you basically just hunt down the your RAM sticks in there, and then basically just look at the latency specs, and then just basically copy paste style. Well, not copy paste, but you no, well, 2 gigabytes now. We want 4 gigabytes, and basically then you just copy, like, you know, it says 9, 9, 9, 10, 28 or whatever, 9, 10, 9, 28 or something, 27, and then you just go into there, because your motherboard, when it first boots up, will basically take your memory, and if you have 1866, it'll probably drop it to 1600, and it'll probably also knock your latency off a little bit. Like this is at 10, it'll probably put that at 11, because it wants to make sure that your motherboard boots up the first time without any issues. So it's not going to start it up overclocked. Their motherboard's probably going to start it up regularly. So I mean, if I look at this, I'm looking at it and sorry, the RAM was a lot cheaper a little while ago. It's a little more expensive now. So you know what? We're gonna have to drop down to 1600. It hurts me, but you know, that's what you do with these budgets. And automatically you see the prices drop down like $10. So I'm gonna go with the G-Skill value. God, that does not sound. I want to see what it looks like. I don't. Yeah, no, you don't want RAM that actually looks like RAM. What the hell? You don't want that. I want RAM that looks like airplane wings. Give me that stuff. Honestly, you don't have to pay for the aesthetic RAM, the ones that look cool, but I'm gonna do it just because it's like $3 more, so you might as well. But it's looking like they're expensive all the way through. The ones that look halfway cool with the why is my roommate must be downloading a bunch of shit because my internet is slow as hell right now. I apologize for that, guys. It's normally not like this. Okay, these are cool. These are nice Fury, low profile, Kingston RAM. So I mean that's going to be good RAM right there. I actually am putting that in my brother's computer. So what is the Aegeus? Oh, that looks really ugly. Yeah, that looks really ugly. And it's $74.99. Okay. Well, we're probably just gonna go with the Kingston because it looks a little bit better. Honestly, I don't think it's really gonna hurt you. God, this internet's starting to piss me off. The Vengeance is 74. King 4. Yep, we're going for this one. It's got 18 reviews. Alright, so now we've dropped our price down to what just happened. Oh, sorry. So we're going to get rid of the G-Steel Sniper Edition. Sucks, you know, it hurts. But that's what happens when you're on a budget. You slowly have to knock things lower and lower because you're trying to stay afloat here. Honestly, we could probably drop that to a $500. That's only like $5 more. Wouldn't drop that to a $500. The only thing I can see is power supply. If I can't do that, I might have to drop the video card a little bit. Maybe take off the X and just go for the 270. And if you want the 270X, you're probably just going to have to overclock to it because, as far as I can tell, we might not be able to make it on this 270, which I really wanted because it's a really nice 270. I mean, those are pretty halfway decent, low high-end or high low-end graphics cards. So, all right, let's see what we got here. We got You know, I've heard some good things about Rosewell, and they do have some good reviews right here. Let's go back to our CPU build. Oh shit! Excuse me, I didn't mean to. Let's go back to our PC build so I can see what our wattage is. We're at 374, so 500 watt would actually do, but we're gonna go 600 in case you want to overclock or anything. Cool max. That just doesn't sound like I should trust it, so I'm not gonna trust that. And I'm going to change this to straight 600 watts because I'm tired of seeing everything that's not a 600 watt. Well, let's go 550 because we get a 550 Bronze C-Sonic. We'll be alright. Let's see. Let's do it by watts. 650, 650, 650, 550. Alright, we have NZXT, $83. Yeah, no, we're going back to price because that was a lot easier. 650 thermal take 550 80 plus bronze. It's kind of looking for a semi-modular one. We'll probably have to go with that. It's only $5 cheaper. Like, there's no point. Cool max. Let's see what this one looks like. It's got 13 reviews. Honestly, it's 600 watts, $52 flat, and we have a $64, so that'll minus about $12. You know what? Let's try it. Let's see. $11, $12 off. Let's see what happens. 528. So we're getting closer to our budget. The only thing I can look at now is this damn video card, which is the last thing you want to cut anything off of, but it looks like we might have to with this $500 budget. I hate to do it, but it looks like it's happening. And a lot of people are going to be out there, oh, I could build a way better $500 build. But you know what? I'm on the spot right now. I'm not doing any research. I'm just kind of looking around and browsing at what we can do. So don't talk shit, dude. Just leave it alone. We do have a 2 gigabyte Royal Queen Club 3D. I don't know who that is. I don't want to touch that. Do not want to touch that. So we have an R9 270 right here. Power Colors R9 270. What are we looking at our price right now? $165. This will be a little, not significantly cheaper. Let's just go with an R9 270 Power Color Turbo Dual. So it's gonna have 2 fans, right? Is that what the Duo, Turbo Duo? That is a baby looking 270. I don't know, I'm kind of scared of that. I don't really like the way that is. But we're down to 515, so if you can spare an extra 15 bucks, you can get this build right here. If not, there are things you can do to drop it down lower. You can look for a 550 for cheaper. You can look for buying a case off of eBay. Honestly, if I drop this to like I could make the budget right now if I really wanted to. Hold on, I'm just going to do it just for fuck's sake because I'm not going to go over on this budget. Let's see. Let's do a 260X. That's basically the equivalent of a 750 Ti. So we're going to go with this one. It's $109. Bam. What do you know? $473. Awesome. I know, right? I am. Okay, so we're going back to our power supply. We're going to go back with that Corsair 600 watt semi-modular because we might as well. 600 watt semi-modular. Bam. And there you guys go. We're at 485 now. This will play 1080p gaming. It will handle most games at about medium to high settings. Unless you want 720p, then you'll probably be able to max out practically every setting. It just depends on which way you want to go. But this is basically it. This is a full ATX. Honestly, this looks like my $350 bill, just more expensive with the 600 watt power supply. I mean, like I said, that's an overkill power supply, but I'm trying to leave you guys room for upgrades, for CPU coolers, extra fans. If you want extra 6 of RAM, I want to leave it upgradable so you can actually shoot up to an FX 85. Actually, let's see how much, or 8320. Let's see how much cheaper they are right now. Let's go with the FX series and let's look. It's 139. Honestly, we might be able to. Honestly, I don't know. You have a 260X graphics card. I don't know if I'd really suggest going for an 8320. That's a bit too much. You know what I mean? You don't need to do that. But I'm saying in the future, if you wanted to, this is upgradable to stuff like that with the 600 watt power supply. You can go up to a 280X or a 760 or a 770. It is up to you. But basically, yeah, this is the processes. I was just trying to show the processes I go for picking a graphics card. Or not graphics card, for picking builds materials for what I'm going to use to build a budget PC. I wasn't really trying to say this is the good PC you can get, but basically I do a lot more refining and a lot more research on stuff before actually confirming this is what I want the build to be. But I do go through a process of picking out things for whatever purposes. But anyways, if we would have been at 600 budget, we would have had the nice RAM. We would have had the nice graphics card too. If you can do the 600 budget, I would definitely suggest going with that 270X right here. I'm gonna put it up for you so you can see the 600. Because that was a really nice build, 270X Twin Frozer MSI. Let's see if we can go a little bit higher and see how much what we get here. Now we Twin Frozer MSI is good. So if you look, we're already at 540, and then if you hop over to your RAM, we'll go here. Honestly, you can keep that RAM, but if you want the for instance but like I said, I was just trying to show the processes of things that I go through when I'm making these builds. It's not like I just sit there and all these parts are perfect, let's stick them all together. No, I pick things out, and I go through and like, this looks better, this looks cheaper, this looks better, let me read some reviews on it, these are almost the same price, one's $1 more, which one should I grab? I do go back and forth. So now we got our 1866 memory, and we are at $550. So now you have your R9 270X and your G.Skill 1866 memory with overclockable FX 6300, as well as your 600 watt power supply, which will be able to power all this overclocked no problem at all. So if I were you, I would suggest saving up the extra $48 and going for this build, because this is just 10 times better right now. This is way better than the one that I just had up, the R7 260X. It's just so much nicer to have this graphics card. So for $550, this is, I would think, a decently nice, well-rounded build. I'm not trying to concentrate solely on the graphics card to where all this thing can do is play a game, but I'm trying to well-round it in general, have it to where you want to have a bunch of tabs open in Google Chrome while trying to record gameplay or something, you know, or you want to run around in a game, but you don't want to have to go and close your media player because you're listening to music. You know what I mean? You want to have some extra cores for that, and as well as some RAM, you know, this faster frequency RAM, as well as his G-Skill. I mean, they're good, and it's their Sniper series, which I'm pretty sure they were talking about was made optimized for gaming. And then you're going to have your Radeon, which also helps with video editing. I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but your graphics card does help when you're messing around with video files. Your graphics card will put in a little bit of hand to help your processor out with like the rendering and the exporting the files and whatnot. So I mean, this is overall very nice. You want to go to $600, buy a better case, you know. But this is basically the process I go through for builds, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of a look on how things work. And maybe, you know, I helped you guys out a little bit for searching for parts. Honestly, I use Google, and I just click on the shopping. So if I want to look for something, Raid Max, I guess, Stingray 249WW, and then I just click shopping just to see if the prices line up with what's on here, because sometimes they don't. And then, honestly, sometimes I'll also go to eBay. Now, I don't suggest buying certain things off of eBay. A case, sure. Buy a case off eBay. That's actually more expensive. I need to message this guy and tell him he's a ripoff. I don't suggest buying your graphics card. I don't suggest buying a motherboard or your processor. Your RAM is kind of iffy. It's up to you. Case and drives, I do not mind buying off there because they are relatively cheap. The case, there's not too much that can go wrong with it. The drive, they're cheap, so it doesn't really matter. But if your video card craps out in 3 months, you're going to really wish you had that warranty. You know what I mean? So, and same thing with your processor. You're really going to be wanting that warranty if that craps out on you. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping on eBay, because eBay does have some good prices on things, but they are sold usually by individual people, usually, not saying always, and it can be really iffy on their return policies as well as the quality of what they're selling. So it says see notes below, update your BIOS. Honestly, mine said that when I bought my PC, one of the most recent ones I built, it said that it came with the BIOS. I think that's mostly for if your motherboard was made before the BIOS update came out, you would have to update it. If it was already sitting on a shelf and the BIOS update for this Versa chip came out, then you're going to need to upgrade it. But I'm pretty sure when they're manufacturing the motherboards and the update's already out, they're already up to date on their BIOS. So I honestly don't think you have to worry about that unless this is a motherboard's been sitting on the shelf for really long. But it's a possibility, but it's not too hard. Most motherboards nowadays have the UEFI flashback, so you won't have to worry about that. But anyways, yeah, that's you know, that's about it, you guys. This, oh, by the way, this also doesn't include any rebates. I don't do the rebates. I think something in here might have had a rebate, but as you can see, as you can see, I turned the rebates off, so it shows up as the actual price. Because, so technically, if you want to include your rebates, this is probably around $500. Without the rebates, it's at $550. So anyways, but yeah, this is my tutorial on, I guess, not necessarily a tutorial, but showing you guys what I do to build a PC, and you can take what you want from it, leave what you don't want, you know, do what you got to do. Just trying to give you guys some insight. But this is Steven with All Talk, and I'll catch you guys later.